Welcome back to Standard Time and to this November 3rd edition of CNN Student News. Hope you're doing well this Monday. I'm Carl Azuz. First up, investigators are trying to figure out what caused another spacecraft disaster in the U.S. 45,000 feet above the Earth and about 20 miles northeast of Mojave, California, the Virgin Galactic Spaceship Two broke up on a test flight Friday. There were 2 pilots on board. One was killed in the accident. The other parachuted to the ground. He was injured, but he survived. The founder of the spaceship's company says he's determined to find out what went wrong and to learn from it. He's still committed to putting people safely into orbit, but the accident wrapped up a tragic and trying week for private space travel.
Ground control lost contact with the experimental spacecraft around 10 o'clock Pacific time. The $500 million rocket-powered craft could seat 6 passengers, but during this test flight, only 2 pilots were on board. The spaceship is carried into flight beneath an airplane, and that launch vehicle returned to the ground safely, but not the spacecraft. What went wrong is anyone's guess. The ship is 60 feet long and designed to fly 62 miles above the Earth. And the wreckage in the Mojave Desert attests to the ferocity of the explosion. A crumpled parachute could be seen on the ground, but still authorities say 1 pilot was killed and the other seriously injured. It's a far cry from the ambitious hopes Virgin Galactic founder Richard Branson expressed earlier this year.
200 of the best engineers and technicians building them. Now we're beginning the final stages of test flights in flight. By the end of this year, we will have actually, gone into space.
Instead, it is another blow to the idea of privatized space travel. And it comes only days after a spectacular launch pad explosion in Virginia, a blast that involved a spacecraft, once again, manufactured by a private company.
A militant Islamic group in Africa is denying making a deal with Nigeria's government. More than 200 schoolgirls who were abducted back in April have not been freed. This contradicts what the Nigerian government announced in October. It said it had agreed on a ceasefire with Boko Haram terrorists and that the girls would be set free. But there were doubts about that because Boko Haram continued to attack Nigerians after the statement was made. The terrorist group leader says the girls, some of them Christians, had converted to Islam and that they've been, quote, married off. Nigeria's government says it's been fighting a war and wars don't end overnight. We're following the sun east to west as we take today's roll. First in the Garden State, the New Jersey borough of Collingswood, we've got the Panthers of Collingswood High School. In the Show Me State, the city of Kansas City, Missouri, hello to the Vikings of Maple Park Middle School. And to the Grand Canyon State at Apache Junction High School in Apache Junction, Arizona, the Prospectors have just struck gold. Thanks for watching, y'all. Tomorrow is the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. That means it's Election Day. The U.S. Congress made the designation in 1845. This time around, we're not voting for a president. Midterm elections determine who will represent us in Congress, who will be governor in certain states, and who will serve in other state and local offices. America declared its independence from Britain, which used to be ruled by kings and queens. So why do we seem to have our own political royalty?
America is a country that rejected royalty when it was founded, but it seems to love dynasties, political dynasties. The Adamses, the Roosevelts, the Kennedys, and in modern times, the Bush family.
I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear.
And the Clinton family.
I, Hillary Rodham Clinton.
They're among the most popular names in U.S. politics today, but this year's midterm elections feature branches of several family trees. Sam Nunn was a powerful U.S. senator from the state of Georgia. Now he's giving his daughter Michelle an assist in her bid for his old job.
And I think you've got a pretty good shot.
And there's another budding family legacy in Georgia.
The next governor of Georgia, my grandson, Jason Carter.
Yes, that's former U.S. President Jimmy Carter endorsing his grandson Jason for an office he once held, governor of Georgia. It's all in the family, from Alaska, where the son of a former congressman is running for re-election in the Senate, to Louisiana, where the daughter of a former New Orleans mayor is trying to keep her Senate seat. And it's all building toward what could be the big showdown between political dynasties 2 years from now. The wife of a president, Hillary Clinton, versus the son and brother of presidents, Jeb Bush, in the race for the White House. But why do families dominate the political landscape? Well, name recognition goes a long way. Among other things, analysts say family ties can make it easier for candidates to connect with donors, and political campaigns are more expensive than ever. In 2012, winning Senate candidates spent an average of $10 million to get elected, and that year's presidential candidates spent a combined $2 billion, according to the Center for Responsive Politics. Keeping things all in the family might make it easier to run for president, but not everyone likes the idea.
If we can't find more than 2 or 3 families to run for high office, that's silly.
Like it or not, political dynasties are part of the American DNA. Jonathan Mann, CNN.
See if you can ID me. I'm a place of worship that was open to the public 502 years ago. I'm considered one of the greatest achievements in art. As he painted my frescoes, Michelangelo wrote a poem about how difficult it was for him. Do you know it? I'm the Sistine Chapel. As he painted part of this masterpiece, Michelangelo wrote, "I am not in the right place. I am not a painter."
Michelangelo's incredible achievement has been incredibly enduring, not only for its timeless depictions of scenes from the Bible, but that it's stayed in place and stayed vivid since 1512. It was restored once from the 1980s to the 1990s, and it's seeing some enlightening changes now because age alone isn't the only threat to the Renaissance monument.
High above the altar in the Vatican Sistine Chapel, Michelangelo's masterpiece fresco is being seen in a whole new light. The new glow is a result of a high-tech makeover, which includes a new air purification system and 7,000 LED lights, all of which will serve to illuminate but will not cause any heat damage. 450 years after Michelangelo's death, this is an emotional moment for many.
I felt very moved and very happy too. Why? Because I got to see the Sistine Chapel like I had never seen it before. This light allows you to see every little detail of the paintings, and at the same time it allows you to grasp and experience the Sistine Chapel as a whole in its entirety.
Experts hope the facelift will safeguard Michelangelo's centuries-old artwork from the damage caused by the ever-growing crowds, who bring in with them their dust and sweat and breathe out carbon dioxide. So from now on, sensors and cameras mounted on the wall will count the number of people in the chapel and regulate the temperature and humidity. And if the numbers of tourists continue to rise, the Vatican says it may have to limit the number of visitors.
No, when we reach 6 million, enough, no more. We will not exceed that number. It is the maximum number. After that, regulating the reservations, we will make sure that number is not exceeded.
Bold and enlightening moves that will ensure that no fresco is left in the shadows. Isa Suarez, CNN, London.
College class exercise that can be completed in less than 2 minutes. If you make it, you get an A, and the winner can get $500 in scholarships. All you have to do is walk on water. It's part of an architectural construction class at Florida International University. Students design and build water shoes, then put them to the test trying to cross a 175-foot lake. Some make it, some get soaked, some do both. Everyone gets exercise, because it's a great way to work out or work in your water aerobics. It gets students in the swim of design, whether they like it or not. It's a trendy way to make waves with everyone wearing boat shoes. And now that you've been inundated with puns, we're gonna climb out and fish for more stories for you to soak in tomorrow. I'm Carl Azuz.